What would you feel if you were torn from your home, separated from your loved ones, and turned into merchandise in a human market? In the dark corners of the 19th century, slavery in the United States not only destroyed lives, but also transformed suffering into a ruthless trade. Amidst this nightmare, the figure of Robert Lumpkin stands out as one of the most infamous names in history. His Lumpkin's Jail in Richmond, a place where human beings were sold, tortured, and reduced to shadows of what they once were, became a symbol of absolute evil. In this scenario, cotton, dubbed the white gold of the South, built fortunes for landowners while thousands of enslaved individuals paid with blood and suffering the price of that wealth. Their lives, marked by subjugation and exploitation, reveal a reality that transcends generations and still resonates as a haunting echo in the collective memory. The Cotton Challenge, the destruction of freedom, and the invention of misery. At the end of the 18th century, a seemingly simple invention would irreversibly change the agricultural structure of the United States, but it would also deepen the shadows of an institution already deeply rooted. In 1792, Eli Whitney, a young Yale graduate, arrived in Georgia in search of new opportunities. It was in the vast cotton fields of the South that he would unknowingly create one of the most devastating tools for the enslaved population in history. Before Whitney's invention, cotton production was an extremely arduous task. The process of separating the sticky seeds from the cotton fibers was slow and laborious, mainly carried out by enslaved hands. Short staple cotton, which was the most suitable type for southern conditions, was particularly difficult to process. This limited the profitability of the crop, so most planters opted to grow more easily processed varieties, but with geographical limitations. Thus, cotton cultivation did not expand beyond coastal areas. In 1793, Whitney's cotton gin changed everything. This simple but efficient mechanism could process up to 50 times more cotton in a single day than a human worker. In the blink of an eye, the agricultural landscape of the South was completely transformed. Short staple cotton, which had been unviable due to the costly process of seed separation, became the primary crop, allowing plantations to expand inland. However, what seemed like a blessing for the agricultural economy of the South had a devastating effect on the institution of slavery. Instead of reducing the need for manual labor, the cotton gin made cotton production even more profitable. This led landowners to expand their plantations, and consequently, a growing demand for enslaved labor. Between 1790 and 1808, the importation of African slaves increased significantly, and ports like Charleston, South Carolina, became key points for this inhumane trade. The impact of the cotton gin was so immediate that it became the core of the Southern economy. In a matter of minutes, this machine did the work that once took hours by hand. Its efficiency not only solidified cotton as the main engine of the economy, but also transformed the South into a vast agricultural empire, completely dependent on enslaved labor for its prosperity. Ironically, Whitney's story was marked by irony. Despite the fact that his invention revolutionized the industry and became a pillar of the Southern economy, Whitney did not reap great benefits from it. The design of the cotton gin was so simple that it was quickly copied, leading to widespread violations of his patent. Instead of receiving the profits he might have expected, Whitney became embroiled in long legal battles that drained both his time and resources. However, the lack of benefits for the inventor pales in comparison to the social consequences of his invention, which made slavery more profitable and, therefore, more deeply embedded in the economic structure of the American South. The dark harvest of slave breeding in America. By the end of the 18th century, the flow of African slaves to the American colonies began to decline, partly due to the ban on importing slaves from Africa in 1808. However, the demand for labor in the cotton fields did not decrease, it merely shifted form. Instead of relying on imports, attention focused on increasing the locally enslaved population.